It is Saturday, April 3rd, 6:16 a.m. I am getting ready to, I'm getting ready to go to the flea market, and second day of flea market. It's definitely hard work, for sure. I mean, that first day, I was freaking exhausted by the end of the day. But so grateful to Miss Hannah for just learning and putting myself out there, and proud of myself, really, too, and just, embracing this new challenge, right? And embracing folks, everyday folks. I was thinking about it this week. It's just like, yeah, like, I think I mentioned it before, where I'm used to working with kids. I'm used to working with families and stuff, but these were always families in need. Like, I'm not used to everyday folks. So it's a little different. But I know it'll be fine. But I wanted, there was something kind of, yeah, I wanted to touch on this concept of envy and regret too, and doubt, and yeah. So, and maybe I'm speaking a little prematurely, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. I mean, I woke up thinking about it. So what happened was, last night, I had a loved one reach out, and this loved one, and it's not the first time that a loved one has invited themselves over. And I used to be, I'm trying to think of how to word this because I didn't write it down. I realized, growing up, I was taught that if someone showed up at your door, you would invite them in. Regardless of what you're doing, you would invite them in. And everything stopped for this individual. And it bothered me. There was a certain part of it that I was like, I get it. This sense of like open house, right? Like mi casa es su casa, right? And I experienced that firsthand from loved ones and friends and my friends' my parents of my friends, right? Like when we'd go over, I hated when that happened. Like when we'd go over unannounced. Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I never really liked that concept of going over unannounced. I always felt like I was disrespecting the family by doing that, because I didn't know what plans they had. I didn't know if they were in the middle of something important. Like I always felt like I was disrespectful to a certain degree. But always grateful, right? When I would go with my family and my parents and they'd just show up, I was always grateful that they opened the doors willingly and were so hospitable. And growing up, then, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing, it could be a cultural thing, Hispanos and, Chicanos, Mexican Americans, what do you want to call this, right? Like there's this, and I didn't like this either. There was a certain part that I just didn't like it. Like when you get invited to parties, right? You get invited to parties, and then you invite that one person, and then that one person's like bringing the cuñada and the neighbor, and so-and-so se está quedando conmigo, so I just brought them along. I didn't like that either. Like it just, because again, I always felt like there was a level of disrespect for the people who were throwing that party, being mindful of like, you know, they allotted for a certain amount, right, of guests, of food, of space, you know, and but it always irked at me because I felt it was, again, disrespectful to the host, and again, it could be a cultural thing, community type of like, oh yeah, anybody's invited, but it always like, ooh. I didn't like doing it to other people, and I really didn't like it when people did it to me. I mean, I never threw parties. Like, oh, well, that was a wedding. And I was a little picky about that. I mean, that was a big wedding. I think, and that wedding wasn't for me. I mean, the decisions made around that topic was, it really, the party was for everybody else. If it were up to me, it'd be small, intimate, probably a getaway, destination wedding. Not that I plan to get married again, but, you know, just, you know, something small, something intimate, something not ordinary, typical. But anyways, so there's a certain element, right, of respect for a person's space. That's really what it boils down to, a certain level of respect for a person's space, for a person's belongings, right? And yeah, so in this process of transformation, if you want to call it, I've had people kind of invite themselves over, not any person per se, but, you know, like family, loved ones. But these were loved ones where, at that time in my life, or in that moment when they were inviting themselves over, I needed space from them because there were differences of opinions, or, you know, we're clashing, and I needed to set boundaries, right? For so many years, I just kind of allowed, said yes, to, you know, would drop everything at a flight to attend to this person's crisis, and you know, neglect what I was doing or put that on the back burner, right? And coincidentally, coincidentally, the video I posted last night was about watering my own grass. I just realized that right now. It was about watering my own grass. And I just realized I okay, whatever. But and so there's what was I saying? Dang it. Water my own grass. Water my own garden, right? Space, clashing, okay. And so I needed space from people. And then, right, I mean, it's a learning experience of with this, that's what it was, the transformation. So with this level of transformation, right, I'm doing things differently. I'm interacting with people differently. Setting boundaries differently. Putting me first. And there's a certain level of, it's not selfishness, it's self-careness. There was a book that I had. I don't know where I put it. I don't know where I put it. But it talked about the difference between, and I think I did another video on it too, selfless, like an old video back in the day, about, you know, there was a certain, Jesus, it was about Jesus, and it was there, you know, Jesus never let people trample over him. He just didn't, right? He accepted people for where they were at. He didn't try to change them. He offered them opportunities for a change, but it's really up to the individual to take that opportunity of transformation for themselves, really, or not, right? And so there's a certain level, right? I think we think that if we're, when a person is attending to their own garden, to their own needs, right? Other people can think, oh, you're being so selfish. Why aren't you making time for me? or oh, you're not wanting me to come over. It's just like, I'm being more mindful of where I'm exerting my energy. Just so happens that this loved one that reached out, I've tried to help, used to help demás, where I remember I would drop everything when this person had a crisis to go attend to this person's crisis. Before I realized, right, other people's crises are not my own. And putting other things that were important to me on the back burner. And I think there's just this cultural belief that that's what you're supposed to do for people, right? And I think, again, everything with balance. So this person wanted to spend the night, and ultimately this person just wants to spend time with me. So I offered what I could. I'm like, right now, I haven't mentioned to this person, I'm like, if I look at my bank account, what I see, right? If I'm lucky, I could extend it for 2 months. And then after that, I'm on God's good humor. And I'm just laughing about it, right? And then this person was a little worried, and I'm like, oh, don't worry, I got my worst case scenario already planned. I was like, I shared what my worst case scenario was, and he just started laughing at me. And then I shared the other worst case scenario where it's just like, I could just live in my car and travel, right? Like that one chick from Bachelorette. And I have friends that, said that they would help me along the way, that I would pave the way for them. And so I wasn't afraid to live in my car because I'd never done it before, right? What an adventure. And I was telling this person, it triggered a memory for this person. I remember this memory. I remember this person wanting to have done this when he was younger, wanting to have gotten in an RV and driven away, taking us with him. That didn't happen. Different times, different situations, different connections. What this person chose to. Choices. It's just people's choices, right? People's choices. And regrets, really. And I sense that from this individual, a sense of regret almost, of not having followed this person's heart, of opportunities that were missed. I'm being more mindful of where I exert my energy, with whom I do that with. I had another loved one where we were clashing a lot, and I needed space from this person. And this person at the end of the day said, believe it or not, I do support you. I didn't know if I could trust this person. And I said, thank you. Time will tell. Time will tell if that's true. If that's really true. And it was a time in my life when, and I still, even now, right? Letting go of that which does not serve me. Letting go of those who do not serve me. And it's not in a negative way. like, oh, be my servant, blah, 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 do as I say. No, it's energy. It's what kind of energy am I embodying when I'm around you? What kind of energy am I embodying when I'm around you? What kind of energy am I exerting, being around you? And I'm still working on being okay with people triggering me. I'm not perfect. I still say the wrong things and hurt people's feelings, and people tell me that, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll try again, but I'm not feeling guilt about it anymore. Like, like, maybe not to the same extreme. At least I hope I don't. I haven't had that recently. So last night when I had this brief conversation with this loved one who invited this person himself over, and I was like, no. And he was kind of shocked. I mean, his response was like, oh, like shocked that I put my boundaries. I'm like, no. Acknowledging where this person is, still loving this person for who they are and what they represent in my life. But I'm currently in a position in my life where I'm trying to water my own garden, making sure my seeds grow. And that means that my time is going to be limited to who I share that time with. And this person was appreciative of the time that I was already spending, with him in a different way. But I think he just wanted more quality time. So, and I offered other suggestions, but it wasn't enough for him. Well, then that's your potato to deal with. Right? Like, this is what I can offer, and if that's not enough for you, I'm sorry. That's something you gotta work on. Right? And but the connection with this individual, there's a long history of it being unbalanced, this interaction. And now I'm setting boundaries where I'm like, no. And so, fortunately, I'm around individuals that are understanding. For the most part. I mean, there's some people that are on the extreme. For the most part, I'm surrounded by people that are understanding, right? I don't think I've ever, I shouldn't say I don't think, because, where I've gotten like backlash of like, well, no, that's not true. I have. Like, you don't love me anymore. And, I've experienced that from some individuals. I'm like, no, I still love you. I'm just going to do things differently with you. And there's a certain element of peace with how the situation is. With how the transition is occurring, the transformation is occurring, where I don't feel like I need to be around these individuals every day to feel close to them. I don't. I think because I've overgiven so much in my life, it's like I already filled that bucket, where I'm like, I had enough of you. That sounds so mean, but it's true. Like, there's a certain element of truth in that, where it's just like, I've dealt with you in such a manner that it was so overwhelming that I don't. And it could be just maybe being re-triggered, maybe, of like, I don't want that same feeling anymore. Right now my time is precious. My energy is precious, right? 40 years old. I feel like I'm just starting to live again. A do-over. And I want to take advantage. Every moment counts. So if I'm around someone who's not taking that moment for themselves either, right? Who's in the woe is me, or a negative thinking pattern, or I will offer to sit with this person for a certain time and accept them for who they are, but I'm not going to devote my life to this person or spend more time than what I need to, just to appease this other person. And it's not that I don't love them any less, it's just that our values have shifted. My values have shifted. I love my family. I do. I will help as much as I can, but I also know when to step back from helping someone. Especially when they have the ability and they've been given the recommendations of tools to follow for their own benefit. And if they choose to not follow, that's on them. That's on them. It's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility. I've done my part, right? I've provided the information. They choose to accept it, great. They choose not to, that's fine too. And I'm not going to feel guilty for someone who's too stuck to do it on their own. That's their challenge to push through. It just is, right? I'm not, there's a certain level of being supportive and not coddling, but not neglecting, right? A balanced approach of just like, I'm giving you the tools, right? And that has been like an ongoing thing in my life of like, I offer people advice. I offer them the tools. If they choose to accept that mission, great, right? I will continue to help support them on that next step. Once they complete that, I will provide that support for that next step because I see the effort that they're putting in. I see that they're trying to change. But if I give them the tools, like literally just saying, watch this, read this, right? You know, try to avoid this. And it's like, then I step back. I'm like, I'm not going to exert more of me than you are for you. I'm just not going to do that anymore. As much as I love you, as much as whatever role you play in my life, I'm just not going to do that anymore. Where envy came in, because that's really not what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about, you know, I listened to MJ and Chris from Minnow Pond. MJ yesterday and Chris from Minnow Pond this morning. And you know, they mentioned envy. Envy. It's an emotion, right? It you know, when the green monster comes out. and you know, I mean, a recent story that I shared with someone was my trophy experience when I was in kindergarten. I don't remember feeling envy. Have I felt envy before? Yes. But then there's that realization of like, well, what does that mean, envy? It's that you want something that this other person has, right? Like celebrities. It always comes out in celebrities because of this discrepancy, right? Of just, you know, they have so much. They're able to go places. They're able to live a certain life that the everyday person doesn't get to. But what the everyday person forgets is that this person achieve success in a certain way, right? Whatever their backstory is, right? And there's a certain, and how you look at the situation. For some people, it comes so easy, and then for others, they worked hard. They were waitressing. They were working so many odd jobs to make it to the top till they found the right part, right? That breakthrough. And then you have other people that it was easier because the times change, right? A person that comes to mind is that person from that singing show, that country singer. She says, Jesus, take the wheel. I forgot what her name is. But I remember at that time in my life, I was a little more clued into celebrities and stuff like that. But I remember she was getting backlashed because she wasn't singing at the bars or singing at the, like she didn't rough it like a lot of the people before her roughed it, right? Of going, you know, singing at different bars or what are the cafe? It's not a cafe, but you know, like working your way down where you would do your road trip, or what is that called? when bands travel. don't know why I'm getting to see about it. I gotta get going. But you know, like she had backlash because she rose to fame through that one show on TV with Simon. I forget that the name of the name of that show. But they gave her backlash because that's how she reached her, you know, stardom or whatever. And people gave her backlash for that. Times are changing, right? I mean, it's easier and faster to get things done. Doesn't mean it's less hard work. She still has to work on her singing, right? It's just the vehicle that she used was different, right? Before it was like, gotta go downtown, you know, bar. Now it's TV, right? Internet accepted. People have more access to you at a faster rate. Oh, so yeah, they were just talking about that, and then I just started thinking, I'm like, well, I'm used to that. I'm used to people being mean to me. Because I had a certain relationship with someone growing up that they wished they had a close relationship with. Or because I earned certain awards, or, you know, I was often called a teacher's pet. I just really liked my teachers. I wanted to learn from them, and I would see what they would do, and I would want to do that, and that's why I wanted to be a teacher. So, but they thought, oh, teacher's pet, she was goody two shoe, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna get backlash for standing out in a different way, for just following your heart. I mean, that's all I was doing, was just following my heart, you know, connecting with the people around me. And it's usually because other people have a sense of insecurity within themselves that they have yet to overcome. They haven't sit and worked through their own healing. I think I might have mentioned it. I don't know. I don't know if I did, but I'm going to repeat it because it's important. I had a friend reach out to me. Yeah, I don't think I did share it. Maybe not, because I don't think I shared it because no one really knows that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to embark into the world of Hollywood. It's funny because I'm like, I never imagined myself doing that. But, you know, I had a lot of people. I have friends that are like wanting to use me in their commercial, and a lot of people say that I have a pretty face, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So I mentioned it to a friend that I'm like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to dabble into that. I'm just going to see, you know, what it's all about, and if I can make a quick buck, right? Because right now it's like, I'm trying to like invest my energy in things that are like easy, fun, and quick, and just to generate some income until I figure out what's going to happen with Spain. And so I don't want to do your typical 9 to 5 is what I kept telling them. And so, dang it, it's only 8 minutes in. So anyways, so I had mentioned to her that, because she asked me what kind of work am I doing. I'm like, still haven't found a 9 to 5 job, that's for sure. I don't plan to. But, you know, I mentioned to her that I was looking into doing a photo shoot. A friend of mine's going to take photos of me. He's in the business. And just, you know, try that out. Just to see if it's even a thing for me, right? And so she says to me, keep yourself safe and use wisdom. LA modeling sounds fun, but it's a world that seems a bit unfiltered, and I imagine people could try to take advantage of beautiful ladies such as yourself. And I'm like, I'm taking it all in, for sure. So I said, yeah, for sure. You know, I have a good friend. He's in the business. He was also like kind of protective of what this could potentially do to myself, right? Not knowing that I've done a lot of healing work. Not to say that I'm done, because I'm sure I'm going to get triggered again. But I told her, I said, you know, I feel like I've done, and I told my friend this as well, I've done enough healing where I've learned to sit with my own discomfort, my flaws, and learn to listen to my intuition, that I don't think I'm going, and I don't believe I'm going to get sucked up in that whole hole, right? That a lot of other people kind of get sucked into, whether it's transforming themselves to appease to someone else's needs or whatnot, right? And I was telling my friend of mine, I'm like, I know I have extra real estate on parts of my body. Like, I get it. But if I come across someone who's just like, you gotta lose 15 pounds, I'd be like, you ain't for me. Move aside. You know, like I just, as much as they'll be assessing me, and this is what I told my friend, I was just like, as much as they will be assessing me by my looks, I will be assessing them to see if we're a good match. Because I'm not going to lower my standards to meet someone else's needs. Been there, done that, right? Been there, done that. And I know myself. I've been through enough rejection from people because of envy, where I don't get invited to certain things, or I am made fun of behind my back, because that's happened to me growing up, where I'm being teased, name called, triangulated. I've experienced enough to know that I can push through it, you know? You know, to where someone can reject me and be like, and for me to not fall apart, right? I mean, for a long time, I was one of those kids where I'm like, I only get A's and B's. And I remember when I got a C, like, I was reprimanded for getting a C. It was a really hard class. Then I remember telling myself, I'm like, I try my best, right? This is what it is. So anyways, why was I talking about that? Oh, I'm not afraid to show these changes, even with the people closest to me, to set these boundaries, even with the people closest to me, to my loved ones, right? People that you would think, oh, you're turning me away? Because they're not used to it. They're not used to this me, this new me. I like this new me. I like this new me a lot. I like it a lot. I like this version of me. I'm still learning how to navigate this new me. But, you know, I have enough confidence and enough guidance that I will listen to my heart at the end of the day. And I won't be too mean, and I won't be too much of a pushover either, you know? Yeah, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. But yeah, that just kind of, I woke up with that in my heart. 32 minutes in, I gotta go. I don't monopolize this one. You guys have a good one. Bye. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, you know, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and